See everybody talking like they doing what we doing, but these brothers is rare and they ain't moving like we moving. And everywhere we go, when we walking, women choosing. Don't hate, it's alright. So don't hate, it's alright. So don't hate.
Jaws of light grip, in the Mars of back, breathing space like I'm Clark Kent.
The dark light skin, red on my ledger on you jokers. Burn the psychology area, center for the hit my
what up, y'all?
Niggas missed the point.
Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, guys.
Hey,
what's cracking, everybody? What's cracking?
Hey, hey.
Almost done trying to get some. Okay, my bad.
All right.
What's happening,
Happy
good people?
Wednesday.
Man, I'm gonna tell y'all, this is a good Wednesday. I seen this notification. I got a good partner. And he working on his I think masters or something like that. And so he been in school working, taking care of business, dealing with life itself. And I think the highest it had it like you can get a 3.0. And then
Butler, you telling my business, Butler?
I saw this thing and it said 4.0. I was like, he think he's somebody. But now, man, I was proud. I fist pumped when I saw it. I was like, okay. Especially when when people dealing with that, they still bringing, straight A's across the board. So salute to my pop.
Listen, brother Butler, this is I'm in pursuit of Masters #2, right? And the thing that I would like to say is I wish I would have been the college student. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish I would have been this college student when I had an opportunity in high school, man. Because
I think for those who I've kind of talked about this before. I talked about this last week on perspective because we were talking about, Black parenting, education, and careers. Like, did we drop the ball? But in that conversation, my point was, like, I hated school. It just wasn't the fit for me. And even it was in the latter part of like finishing my degree, because I attended Texas Tech. Shout out to the Double T.
Are you saying when you saying you hated school, you hated all school, you hated college, high school, everything? You pretty much hated school in general? Is that or just college?
I enjoyed college a lot more than I enjoyed high school or any other level of that mess.
Okay.
And there's probably a lot of other factors have to dig into, but as I finished my degree, I enjoyed it. And but I feel like my education, even though I secured my degree, my education expanded after that period, really from my own study, which I think a key point was education is really our guest, Miss Lynn, she made a key comment. She said, the home is a learning center. And that's where you learn everything, soft skills and also academic skills.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of living proof of that. There's a lot of things that I bring to the table that, the books are there. The information is there. It's on you to go and apply it and learn it. So, but the formal education system is what it is. It means what it means. It opens doors, windows, and closets per se. So, it's a thing you have to do. So I salute those who do it. And like you just pointed out, becoming that on the latter end. I wish I would have been as studious and hungry for knowledge in that sense, but I don't think they created that type of environment at that time anyway. So, plus you learn what you're interested in anyway.
I think this is as somebody, in education.
Right.
And, I definitely, I will say this. I think the biggest issue with education is that for most people, it starts and stops in the classroom. Most of the knowledge that I have attained that I deem useful and that I feel is relevant to what I need in my profession are a lot of things that I learned in college, but it was because of research, like
Right.
learning how to research. I think the biggest issue is a lot of times we don't look for knowledge when we're not in school. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like if we applied ourselves to at least try to learn some things outside of the public school system, then I think that we would be much better off and well-rounded professionals. But I think a lot of times we only get what they teach us in school, and we in the real world at some point those concepts aren't applicable.
They aren't applicable.
Not using
But you know, yeah,
I'm not
but I
using
tell you,
algebra.
that's a whole nother argument right there, because you know, it is what it is, but
Yo,
I don't like it.
I'm just saying, as far as like you know, I felt the way you felt through high school, which is probably why I didn't do any college until my 30s. You know what I'm saying? And I tried to avoid it. But I will say that, you know, I'm obviously back for a third time, right? So obviously I enjoy it, or I get something out of it, or there's a reason why I'm doing it.
Right.
But I do enjoy the fact that
And I mean, but
it's the research. It's just the things that I've learned in research. Like, you know, certain things, like I remember going to write a paper on like medicinal marijuana or something for my undergrad degree. Like that was one of the topics we could write on. And I went to go write this paper on why medicinal marijuana would be beneficial in the marketplace per se. You know what I mean? And I ended up finding out why it was illegal in the first place.
right.
And when you did you know that hemp was our #1 export all through the First World War?
I did.
So the thing is, everything was made from hemp in the United States for the
Everything.
most part. Like clothes, the ropes that were used on ships, like everything was made from
A
hemp.
lot of the military's garments, like their flap jackets and stuff that they wore.
As a matter of
Like
fact,
hemp has so many uses.
in the First World War, if you were drafted but you would stay home and grow hemp, they would let you out of the war. You know what I'm saying? So at one point in time, it was the basis of our economy. And then when you do the research and you find out that really it was made illegal and banned, and it was all had racial connotation to it.
Yeah, we know it was. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? There's a line.
We're gonna make that one a conversation. We gotta have that.
Yeah, there's a line. I think the dude name is either Harry. I think it's Harry or Henry J. Anslinger. Harry or Henry. I can't remember the H, but it's like H.J. Anslinger. And dude in a government document said like marijuana is illegal because it makes white women get loose with Mexican and Negro jazz musicians. And
or it makes
no, not or. I just told you exactly what it said though. That's what it said. Line for line, word for word. I'm not putting it in my jargon.
In the government
he said
document,
that in a government document.
But I know they put out information saying that it makes black men and Mexicans lust after.
No, bro, it's the other way around. It made white women loose with Mexicans and Negro jazz musicians. This is specific language, letting you know they was hanging out where it was going down. They was kicking it, and life was happening, right? But the thing is, he was the first American drug czar, like 1929. But when the Mexican Civil War happened, like between 1906 and 1918, our Mexican population tripled from it was something like from 300,000 to 900,000. And basically it was a way for them to have a reason to start sweating people. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like the first, it was racial profiling, but mind you, this is at a point in time when America, for the most part, right, is your white and black element, and now you're dealing with the invasion of Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? So them coming flooding up here from the Civil War and stuff like that. So when you just realize the racial connotations of it and how far it goes back, and those type of things. Those are the things that perked my ears up in education. And then I also realized that what really sucks is we, as teachers, we are in a yes or no society, right or wrong, true or false, right? And life is deeper than that. So that's another reason why I think I enjoy college so much, because college isn't about right or wrong. It's about how do you feel and can you prove it? You know what I mean? So even if we could have two separate opinions, but if we can both prove our points valid, we can both be right. That's you know what I'm saying, the beauty of it. So, but yeah, man, I mean, you know, that's the long and the short of that situation. But
congratulations to you, man.
Listen, man, I'm only
4.0, brother.
Listen, man, 4.0. I got my first semester down. I'm going into the summer and then the second semester. So I got my practicum classes, you know. So you know, listen, I ain't gonna lie to you, but I'll tell you this. You know, my whole thing is this. I went through a lot, and you know, when I went through what I went through, I was still working on my second degree. Right. So I went down, I was out for about 40 or 50 days, picked up my finally got my laptop. And then they were like, you know, I'm like, man, did y'all drop me? Where am I at? You know what I'm saying? I've been out of commission. This what happened to me. They like, nope, you was ahead. So you good. We just going to restart this class, do that, do this, do that. So, you know, my whole thing was this, right? I understand how frustrating life is. I got a 22-year-old daughter. You know what I'm saying? Senior year of college. And sometimes life be lifing, right? And so I knew that I had all the right in the world to take a break. You know what I'm saying? When what happened to me. I could have took a break. I could have put school down for 6 months and came back to it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, hey, this is the only thing that mentally takes me out of this hospital space I'm in. You know what I mean? Like I can completely zone out on this homework and it's something I can do, right? It ain't about physical help. Can I sit up long enough to do it? That type stuff. But I wanted to show my daughter like, hey, man, no excuses. Even when they give us one, don't use it.
Yeah.
Prove it to yourself. You can get it done. You know what I'm saying? So that was my motivation for not quitting or not, you know, taking a break or whatever, man. So I will always say this. I know everybody isn't, you know, popular with education, and depending on what you ended up going to school for and if you used it and that type of stuff, all that matters. But I say that to say this. I wish I would have been, I think, a little bit more educated while I was running around doing a lot of the music stuff, because I think I would have attacked it in a whole different way. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing that I feel like. I feel like that education would have benefited me. So I wish I would have did it. That's my 2 cents on that. And like when people tell you better to have gone to school and you have it than not to, that's a true statement, because your degree don't have an expiration date, don't expire. If you got, you know what I'm saying, you got it. Don't matter when you got it, you got it.
And it has to be applicable to my last statement on the education front is it just has to be in that front. It just needs to be applicable to what you're doing, and you need to have an interest in it. That's why college was a lot different than just the early years, but that's it. You can go ahead.
Very, brother, just to piggyback on that, and it's tough to what you want, what you're gonna do at 18, 19 years old, right? It's 30-year-olds don't know what they're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So it's real easy to be 19, 18, 19. But I think that's one of the reasons why in my field and career in technical education, like I'm one of the people that are trying to push these kids to be like, yo, what do you like to do? Like, what could you do where even if they didn't pay you a ton of money, you would be cool going to work and doing it every day, and then figure out how you get your ton of money in that space.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you there.
But I'm just saying that don't happen that often, unfortunately.
I think you it's hard to know, bro. It's hard to know what you want to do. A lot of times we think we want to do stuff. Then we get there, and then we like, oh, this ain't what I thought it was gonna be. You know, I remember when Princess used to be like, oh, I want to do what is it that the CSI people be doing? The forensic
science.
She was like, I want to do forensic science. And I'm like, so you want to be the police? And she's like, nah. And I'm like, but that's what them people are the police.
What's up, Danielle?
You know what I mean?
What's up, Danielle?
Okay, wait. We got to shout Danielle out because she ain't jumping in at 9:25. She actually here. So we gonna shout. We shouting Danielle out because she made it early. She ain't had to catch us on the pod.
Go
this
ahead,
week.
Go ahead, Adrian. Start over with the comments so we can make sure we shout out our viewers.
Oh yeah. And we can get rolling. Let's get rolling.
All right, we got Ty Louise.
How you doing?
Louis,
Happy Wednesday, too.
Happy Wednesday.
Yeah.
Play by
Hey,
CJ.
We deep this week. What's happening, everybody?
What's going on, good people?
What's up?
Yeah, and I saw my bird. She clicked in early and said happy Wednesday.
Okay, so what's on the agenda? What's on the agenda, Shawan? What you gonna yell at me about this week?
I'm not gonna yell at you about anything.
You supposed to listen. This is the platform today. Listen, baby, this is the platform for you to do it. If you ever wanted to, you got license. This it.
Be nice this week, okay? I'm not gonna yell at you guys.
I'm gonna look nice and play nice. That's what I came to
Scott do. Scott don't like when I'm nice. He's like, no.
Yeah. Nah, I'm good on nice. I'm good on nice. You.
I'm good. All right. Nice. Well, this should get us riled up.
Come on with it.
This will be a good one.
Come on.
Okay. Well, let's see.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. But sometimes you got to do that. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy. I'm going to rehab. Had to ask God for His mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
Who want to go first?
Yeah, it's not funny, but I want to go. Last night, I didn't even get an answer. That literally sound like an interlude or something to a song. It just sounds so.
Can I tell you what? Can I tell you what I was? Can I tell you what I was thinking?
What you was thinking?
You can't handle the truth.
Shut the fuck up. That's really what I was thinking.
Yeah, like my thing is like, why are you apologizing to us?
So
y'all know why he
apologizing to.
That was a whole ploy to seek any type of sympathy from individuals. It was his, I think, failed account to kind of take responsibility because you didn't say any of this until the video came out and there was proof. And most people don't know. Most people are not sorry. And you know what? I ain't gonna say
they saw they got caught. They only saw that they got caught. That's it.
So they only want to apologize after they get caught. It would have landed better if he would have been like, listen, these are some things that went down and that I've done in my past. And I know I'm seen in a certain way and I've really had to go to work. It maybe gave some receipts on, this is the therapy I took. These are the things I've done. Then that may come across, but at this point, it's like a failed attempt. It's anybody with some, who maybe have some investment in those type of circumstances. I'm gonna be honest. I'm jaded about it because you know, domestic violence has been close in my life, so I detest it to a very high degree, and so automatically just man, I don't want to hear that, and I'm gonna keep it clean, even though that ain't how I feel like saying it. I'm gonna be respectful of all the viewers or who may watch this, but man, get out my face. I do
It's
not
bullshit.
want yeah.
And my thing is that lawsuit dropped in December. He doubled down and made a statement. None of the things in this lawsuit is true. I absolutely have not committed any of these acts.
But that's why I say.
So my thing is, if you're gonna apologize, my thing is, if you're gonna make a public apology after you doubled down and called this woman a liar and said you didn't do any of these things, when we clearly see a video now that you did do something that was in that lawsuit, you didn't apologize to her. You apologized to us.
Diddy, shut the fuck up. Stop talking.
Just where's your PR team? Where's your people?
Listen,
why did they allow you to make this video?
He'd have been better off not.
This is the first thing I'm gonna say. I remember Rico Love one time said, "No look is better than a bad look."
Or or a fool. Hey,
meaning
like keep your mouth closed.
It's better
and be assumed a fool than to open your mouth and prove that you won.
Or just meaning that it's better for you not to show up than to show up and look bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't show up, you can still save face and give a reason for not showing up. But if you show up and do a terrible performance, there's not really an excuse for that, right? You're a professional. No. So I think right now, and I know, like, I think he's probably in a very lonely place. I'm sure the only people.
I'm pretty sure Cassie and any other woman that he was abusing with his power and apparently his fist and feet probably felt very lonely too.
And I'm saying, like, I think the only people that are dealing with him right now are the people who probably have to take his calls, right? Like, if you got to take his calls, you know, meaning that you depend on him in some facet.
Like, if he's still employing some people, so yeah.
Which is why I'm saying, like,
interact with him
there
are
people,
degree.
You know, that have to deal with him. But I think right now he's probably not talking to many people, right? Like, he does. I'm sure he had a PR team prior to this. But
like, listen,
hey man, I'm
not doing this. I ain't involved in this, bro.
When that video dropped, they said, "Oh, we quit." When y'all quit, when that video came out, we quit. As soon as that video came out, we quit.
The video is
plausible. They had plausible deniability at a certain point, but when the
proof came out,
and I want to give you some credit real quick, because I think you're right, and I think this also kind of makes the point I was making before we started the show kind of right, right?
Okay.
For him to have doubled down like that just 5 months ago, he could not have known that tape exists.
He didn't know. He didn't know they had it.
But that's what I'm saying. And I'm saying I personally don't think Cassie it was about, like, it. I don't think it was about the money for Cassie, right? But I think somebody who saw that video was like, yo,
get this bread.
You need to get this bread. Like, all this man's done to you. You came with nothing. You left with nothing. You have an opportunity to get something. Even if you don't need it, you need to take your piece, because you should have been able to have it anyway.
You don't need it, bro. And I'm gonna tell you.
I think she'll be fine.
No,
like, she's gonna get so much bread now, because it's interview time now. It's interview time now. Oh, she's gonna go on a world tour, bro.
She needed the bread, because once you've been through something like that, and even if she didn't know about the video, right, and someone brought the video attention to her or her team, she's not going to be able to go and be in a regular work environment without being harassed, questioned, or dealing with some of that type of stuff, because you've kind of been in a celebrity. So you need to have enough that you can maintain a decent life
without
having to go out into that. So
you gotta remember though, bro.
It's just my opinion
but listen,
and perspective.
I'm saying, but as a professional, right? Like singer, songwriter, she don't just hear me out though. She don't necessarily have to, like, she can do whatever she was doing at her own pace. I personally think that based on who she was as a person, whatever she probably wants to or wanted to do industry wise, I'm sure she could do it. You know what I'm saying?
But I think we're talking about I don't even want to say his name. We talking about this dude that has a lot of influence over the music industry. Well, so she and she could have assumed
too, like after being with Diddy and having a firsthand look in the music industry and knowing that it's not much, it probably didn't matter who she was with. It's probably not gonna be much different.
So couple things I want to say. Side stories, things I've heard that have popped up since this story has come up. Did y'all hear the story about Kid Cudi car getting blown up?
Yeah, that's been a story.
I never heard about that. Butler, you know about that? Okay, so
I had heard something about
that happened. I had never heard that before. So that was that was like news to me. So there was another lady. I can't remember her name. I wish I knew it. I'm sure you may know what I'm talking about. But she talked about the abuse that Kim Porter used to take.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And she was saying how at one point in time, Cassie was laughing at Kim because Diddy would bring Cassie home. She made a reference to one time, like Diddy brought Cassie home and made Kim get out of the bed so Cassie could get in it.
See, that's
you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, I'm saying that to the point of the lady made the point to say, like, Cassie thought it was funny when Diddy was doing it to somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
right.
So let's read the comments.
Go ahead.
CJ says, man, why niggas every time they mess up, they talking about, so I'm gonna seek therapy. You don't need therapy, you need your ass work.
Hey, man, therapy is important, man.
Go ahead and finish reading it, Adrian.
I said it, I read it. You need your ass work. Yeah. Therapy is important, but you can't use that as a solution to your problems that you really have.
Or you can't use it as a receipt. You know, the problem with, like you said, the biggest problem with this is he doubled down.
Yeah. Good evening, Jeff. Yeah, he doubled down.
And that was tough.
Alexis says, yes, he did. Y'all forget his house was raided up and he paid for the hotel tape. That's the thing, too. He paid $50K for the hotel tape back when it happened.
Right. So what I'm saying is, if he had the only copy of the tape, right? Why you still got the tape?
The FBI took it when they raided the house.
Why do you still have the tape? Why does the tape even still exist?
But listen,
we know why. This is because abusers and murderers, they like to keep souvenirs of the stuff that they do. And Diddy is very much the same thing. He's a psychopath. So of course he gonna keep the tape. He gonna keep all the tapes. Like he got all the tapes of the freak offs. He got all the tapes of half the music industry in very compromising positions. He got so much power over there.
Why a lot of them ain't saying a word and didn't say nothing.
And that's why ain't nobody saying nothing. So that's why he got the tapes. That's why he just didn't know that this was gonna get leaked. And maybe there was a reason they leaked this one specifically. But they got the tapes. They got the evidence. They're just building their case, at this point.
Go ahead.
But this is my question, though. If the feds got the tapes, how did Cassie get the tape?
Why do you think Cassie got the tape? This just came out. Like, she didn't even know it was coming out.
And
you think Cassie would be okay with that?
Here's the thing.
I think that tape had to exist.
It could be her lawyers. It could be the feelers and the investigators that her lawyers are putting to work.
So maybe
it's a lot of different ways that and they do that. That's what they are.
I'm with you on that.
How do we put our client in the best position to win? And so it's there's really no telling. We could speculate on that all day.
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead,
Danielle says Cassie and Puff both had copies of the tape. Cassie brought the video out in court. That came out on the Breakfast Club. Okay.
Cassie and
So I
Puff
didn't know
both
that.
had copies of the video. Oh, see,
I didn't know that.
See? I'm telling you.
Her lawyers definitely made sure
Puffy thought didn't nobody had that tape but him.
Or he maybe thought that it couldn't come out because of the DNA.
We knew what you meant.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And Alyssa says, and then the lawsuit came first into play, and he spoke out and said he was being falsely accused. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you gonna lie? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now you gonna lie? Now we finna drop this tape. Okay, since we lying.
That's a bit much.
But my thing is the problem, like, and I think we was talking about this before, guys. Before we started, how it's so many men that he knew outside of the people that he worked with that are obligated or loyal to him that knew that these things were going on. Like people, there were stories about how there was a time where he was around a bunch of celebrities like disrespecting Cassie, and like, you know, some stuff had happened in front of like big name celebrities, and people were just like, what, like trying to help her, but nobody could really help her.
I mean, it's it's an awkward moment because he's the big homie. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how do you?
He ain't even just the big homie. He the crazy homie.
Like,
he
the one but I'm saying in the music industry, right?
Yeah,
like
no, I'm saying he'll curtail your career. He could really impact what you're trying to get going on.
Right. But
people
that's what I'm saying.
Career,
he's the big homie.
Their values.
He's the big homie. He's the guy who, like, when he walk in the room, he's the big homie to all of these dudes that are in the industry.
That's just crazy because he's just an evil person, though. Yeah,
even Jay-Z, right? Puffy had a label when Jay-Z was a rapper.
Listen, here's the thing though, like, you know, we better we like Diddy, we better brace ourselves for the other ones that's coming behind him, because there's more coming. And I hear Jay-Z is not quite the same kind of things, but I hear that it's coming.
When it rain, it pours, because none of them top dudes want to go down by themselves. None of them.
It's coming, so we better be ready.
We got one more comment, then we can go on a break, I think.
Okay, let's see. Now the statute of limitation passed on the DV, in the state, so he can't be charged for the beatdown. Yeah, he can't be charged for that, but there's so many other things that he could be charged for in the lawsuit. All of that sex trafficking stuff is real, and that's the case that they're trying to build. Like, not for now, they wanted to prove to the public, this is a dangerous man. Yeah, he's capable of. This is what he's capable of.
Well, the thing is, when you start now, they're gonna throw a RICO. They're gonna throw a RICO at him for sure.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get him.
And that way, they'll get anybody who was close to him to tell on whatever they got to stay out of jail.
Yeah, that's going down.
It just. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, you know, it's just it's an ugly situation, man, all the way around. I just think that no look is better for him, because I don't think there's nothing
to say.
He can say.
Nothing.
Right? Like when you had an opportunity to say something, like Shawan said, you doubled down.
Hush.
You had an opportunity then to go, hey, I was messed up.
You could have said that back then. Yeah.
I treated her extra wrong. You know what I'm saying? She deserves whatever we need to do because she deserves it, because she ain't deserve that stuff, right? And I took advantage of her because I had leverage, whatever. Boom. And then, now don't get me wrong, it's Diddy. I think Diddy can do. I know it sounds terrible, right? But we are dealing right now where a guy knocked up a porn star, paid for the abortion, and about to run for president again, right? So we in a country where if you are nice to the right people, you should get an avenue to make your apology and make your amends and all that.
What you mean? He ain't apology. That I don't equate the two. And he ain't made now damn apology.
No apology.
No, listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, he's gonna eventually go on like this apology tour. Like
this is different though. This is different. No,
you don't think so?
No, cheating is one thing. Cheating is one thing.
Going on an apology
tour?
No,
cheating is one thing. No, Scott. Cheating is one thing, okay?
Okay,
But
I'm listening.
beating and stumping a woman in a
Yeah.
towel in a hallway in broad daylight,
Yeah.
you are not going on apology tour for that. First of all, he's going to be in prison. Trafficking. Do you remember there's a whole trafficking case? He's going locked up. They won't let him out. But nobody is going to forgive him after what they saw. This man chased this woman down the hallway that was barefoot, snatched her, threw her down, stumped her multiple times, then was throwing shit at her, and it drug her back to the hotel room. Like, there is no apology, George, that you can do.
He didn't
that's
do it.
going to give you favor.
But what I'm saying is, he didn't do it yesterday. He did it almost a decade ago, right?
Yeah, play that music, man. Play that music.
And
We
after
way
that,
past
too.
halftime. Let's get them people to jam. We gotta let them jam, then we'll hit the comments when we come back.
Y'all funny.
They call it Kill Town. They call it Kill Town. I rap Milltown, Mill City of the Mill. Some niggas get money, some niggas get call it Kill Town. We call it, they call it Kill Town. What's cracking with it? Beating up Sherman in the cleanest thing you've seen in your whole life. Tire smoking, exhaust out of both pipes. Truth like Sojourner, block burner, I ain't no fool. And put dudes on my trucks and my old school. Same motto from day one, get rich. Keep the tires on my wheels about an inch thick. Still drumming money, I ain't bluffing, nigga. Enough dough to take care of a couple niggas. 2 pools in the volleyball court. Little mama in the tank top and volleyball shorts. Stunting nightly, creep with a buck's wifey. Fresh dookies in the towel bucket by Nike. Nonchalantly, I lean on the whip. Pants hanging off my ass like my jeans don't fit. I'm a player, you're a commentator. Big Daddy with the cane, cause I'm a smooth operator. Hater. Milltown, Middle City of the Mill. Some niggas get money, some niggas get call it Kill Town. They call it Kill Town. And it's just guns, drugs, hoes, snitches, and OGs. Home to the nation's dirtiest police. They call it Kill Town. We call it, they call it Kill Town. What's cracking with it? They tore down hillside to build condos, but we still here. Real shootouts with cops, niggas was killed here. My slums overrun by coke smoking guns. Can't give your money to the church, we got smoking nuns.
So I think the world is going. It's the world's coming to an end, y'all. Everything is just as we know it is just falling. Like, if you just look at the phenomenal, what's the word I'm looking for? Just some of the, like, if you just look at the figures in the past few years, man, from Cosby to Epstein to R. Kelly, like, these are major public people, you know what I mean? Like, going down, which is crazy because it seems like 30 years ago, all the crazy people was the Dahmers and the, you know what I'm saying? Like, the normal people who was doing the crazy stuff. Now it's the crazy people doing the normal stuff. I guess that's how I could put it. You
well, no, because like the rich people the celebrities and the rich people have always been doing the evil stuff. It's just that they got the money.
They've been able to pay to get it off.
Yeah, they've been able to. And I always say that celebrity and power and fame is one of the best places to hide when you're evil, because you have so much access and ability to do the things that you want to do. It's a whole different playing field when you're rich and wealthy. Like, that's the perfect places for most psychopaths. That's why there's so many of them. That's why in the industry, that's why there's so many evil people. So
I wonder how much of what he was is like how much of that is who he's always been, and like how much of that was like him being drunk on like power. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like, here's the one thing I will say. I'm sure they was both in the drugs and all that type stuff, right?
Is
like,
that a question?
What do you mean?
Because you said,
I mean, it was. Like, I wonder. That's a real question. Like, I wonder how much is Like I wonder how much of
you said how much was it the power, and then how much of it was
like
him
being drunk on his own power, or like has he always been, like
Well,
from day
they say
one?
once you get there's a thought out there that whenever you get money or power, I think money is power.
The true you comes out.
It just reveals more of who you already are. So if you
Yep.
have values, principles, and let's think about it, there are a lot of very wealthy, powerful people out there. They're not caught up in this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Even in the entertainment scene,
that's true.
you think about it. Right now, we just got through. This is really what the beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake is really about. How are you handling your success? Drake is like, man, let me do my Diddy thing and function in that way. Where Kendrick, he raps about trying to fight the urge, like getting too much accolades and letting it go to my head, getting the money and letting it go to my head. You go back and listen to his older work, it gives you a clear picture into his newer work. So I think it's who you are, to answer your question.
Yeah, that already was in Diddy. Like, to be a woman abuser, to like beat women, and this is not just her. Like, this is all the women he's been with. There's women going back 20 years that say he put his hands on them. So this is a behavior of his. I don't think the money had anything to do with it. I think that even if he was a regular person, he'll still be slapping women. Like, he'll still been.
I don't know if the guy running around for Andre Harrell was, you know what I'm saying, had that type of moxie. You see what I'm saying?
Man, like, didn't he steal artists from Pharrell?
Like,
I said Andre Harrell.
Andre Harrell, yeah.
Andre Harrell.
I get what you're saying. Like, no, that don't mean anything.
He had to fire that cat because the way he was moving.
But
Diddy always been strange.
That's not the same thing, though.
It is. But this has always been something that's in him. Yeah, right? Like that's
like
in
for
you.
Example,
like,
okay, like let me give you an example. I know this is to the left, right? But this is about my only. It's like like Will Smith's wife, right? Like Jada Pinkett Smith. I feel like as she's become more successful, her strange has increased, right? Like I felt like at some point she used to operate on a normal horizon. I think that like after the Matrix, she was no longer operating on a normal horizon. Right?
I think after Tupac's demise, she wasn't operating on a normal.
But she didn't have that level of fame yet.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, though, right?
Fame yet.
That's my point. So I'm saying like because to me, I feel like in their marriage, before she had her own like real bag, she was Will Smith's wife.
I don't know. I always, even when she was doing, Jason's lyrics, she still had a certain level of fame within our community.
Community, though, it wasn't Will.
But Will Smith got fame.
She still don't have. To me, she still don't have a worldwide range of love. But go ahead, Adrian.
But the two comparisons are just starkly different, though. Like,
that's not
she's
true.
She's a little eccentric. Like, she's a little different. You know what I mean? She has a different type of belief.
She also slept with one of her son's friends, and that was kind of creepy and weird.
Yeah, that's creepy and weird.
Ain't no kind of brother.
So,
yeah,
but what
that's
I'm saying,
creepy and weird. But
what I'm saying is, right? What I'm saying is, I don't think the Jason lyric Jada Pinkett is operating mentally in that space where I think she's still got Hollywood.
We know Hollywood changes you, though. We know that it.
But that's what I'm saying, right? So I'm saying I find it now. Keep in mind, right? And I know this is probably a terrible idea, but this is what I was thinking about, right? Like it brought me back to the Biggie situation with him and Faith. Remember? Faith and Biggie got into it. He had to kick her out the crib, and people said that Biggie got violent. You know what I'm saying? So essentially, I feel like it's like if this happens 30 years ago, people don't make it what it is in 2024. right?
I don't think it gets exposed the same. What was
we wouldn't see the video.
So
we definitely wouldn't have seen the video 30 years
Alexis
ago.
just made a comment and said Cat Williams made a comment. He said that 2024 is the year. He say
it's the year of Aquarius, so it's the year of truth. Like everything is coming out.
It's been the year for what year was it with Cosby and Epstein? What years was this? I mean, it's been happening. The dominoes been falling.
They've been falling, but now they're coming even more rapidly.
It's the age
of Aquarius. Yeah,
which is spoken to. You can, and all the viewers, y'all can go look it up. It's when things get revealed. Like the veil falls, people get exposed for what they really are.
I feel like a lot of unfortunate times is when you've been around for too long, when time changes and you don't adapt, you end up in trouble.
What is done in the dark comes to the light. Like when you're out here being a bad person and doing bad stuff,
hear what I'm saying?
It's gonna come out. Eventually,
but what about when the bad stuff was perfectly okay? Because that's what
it was never okay. It was never okay.
Okay, so let me give you an example of what I mean. Right? For example, we look at R. Kelly and Aaliyah. Right? We look at that as weird, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen an article about Elvis and Priscilla Presley.
But you know why that is.
Okay, but hold on though. But
I
also,
wouldn't say it wasn't the date and the time. It was the people.
Yeah,
I would say that part of it has to do with the date and the time.
And what's the dude that sing that song? Great
Ball, Jerry Lee Lewis. Same thing. He married his cousin.
His teenage cousin.
Now,
but does that get blown up the same?
Woody
and
Allen.
We don't want to. I don't know. Maybe y'all don't want to talk about it, but we can talk about the cultural differences. Being black in America. We already have to walk. There's always a tighter line you have to walk.
But it seems like in the most recent years though, right? It's been everybody. It's been the Kevin Spaceys and the Epsteins and the R. Kellys and the Cosbys. Like it's been like a Weinstein. Like the creeps just been falling. This is what I'm saying. I think creeping was cool 30 years ago, but it ain't cool now. Listen, what I'm saying to you. Hear me out.
It wasn't cool. It wasn't exposed the same.
No, it was cool. Just
I
like
hear what you
no. It wasn't that it was. Listen, it wasn't that it was cool. It was like, one of those things where women cool, just didn't have a voice. Women didn't have a voice. It was never cool, but women didn't have a voice where they could speak up and actually be listened to when they said these things were happening. And since the times are changing, now people have a voice. But that's why it took so long for Cosby.
But that's what I'm saying. Times are changing.
Let's go talk about Cosby because I think that was a sham job. That's why I won't use that one. But go ahead.
See, look, now you picking and choosing. How we picking and choosing, brother?
No, I listened to the information and the information that came to me and the way that
all 30 women lying?
Excuse me?
All 30 women lying? Like all of them? Every single one. None of them telling the truth.
How can I? So now let me ask you this question.
You said a sham.
No. Yeah, I do. I think
sham.
It's a sham job. Listen, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
All 31 women telling the truth? All 31 women?
I didn't say they were. But I'm saying,
if you can pose that question, you got to be able to answer that
even if 95% lying, what about the other 5?
No, I mean, he got what he got. I ain't tripping.
Listen to what I'm saying. If you let me finish my point. My point is this. When I say cool, I don't mean cool like it was cool to do. I mean like how at a point in time, if you was black in America, you couldn't look a white person in the face because it wasn't cool, right? Like it wasn't cool. What I'm saying is, I think 30 and 40 years ago, creeping was cool as far as Hollywood. Like it was cool. You like some people was.
I get what you're saying. I think you're saying it was cool, but.
Like being saying, a creep, you talking about being a molester. Hold on, being a molester, being a rapist, being a woman beater.
Yeah, I'm saying the people who took advantage of people because they had the power. I think that was the way of the world in Hollywood at one point in time, and then the world evolved, and you didn't have to do that more. You ain't got to go sit on the casting couch no more, right? But there was a point. But there was a point in time
where that was the way.
There was a point in time when Spanish Fly putting things in women's drinks was a part of what some people did, right? Like Bill Cosby talked about it openly on David Letterman. So what I'm saying is, at one point in time in late 60s, early 70s, date raping was cool with him because it was part of what was happening around him.
And that's because women didn't have the rights that they have now.
Not about rights. It's the fact that the creeps, the creeps were the ones. It was like high school, right?
Bro,
you know, them dudes are the creeps.
Adrian, when you say they didn't have the right, he says it's not rights. What you're saying, they didn't have the voice. They didn't have anyone.
They didn't have the voice, and they didn't have the laws. Like the thing is that the system was very misogynistic, so they didn't really care. Like if a woman said, "Oh, she was raped," or "She was groped," or "This happened to her," it's like, "Oh, that's nothing." Like that's not a big deal.
This is what
so
I'm saying.
That's why the times are different now because the sexual crimes against women are bad. Like you don't do those things. So now it's a completely different time.
This is what I'm saying, right? I'm saying if 30 women were victimized by Cosby, hypothetically speaking, just hypothetically speaking, what I'm saying is by person 6, 7, 8, 9, Hollywood is aware that this dude is doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
They're aware.
So what I'm saying is women are going, girl, if you go over there, he gonna try to do something, right? Because Hollywood, especially among black actors, women, like they all know each other for the most part, if you in them circles. So all I'm saying is at one point in time, just like sitting on a casting couch was cool, women actresses knew if you went to go read that part at Bill House, there was a chance Bill might do something to you. But if
that reputation had to be out there.
Are you willing to take that risk to be on the Cosby Show? You see what I'm saying?
Apparently, a lot of
them they would.
I'm saying
not
now,
all of them, but a lot of them.
Fast forward 30 years later, right? Times have changed. You can't do that to people no more. But he's still doing it. You in trouble. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying at one point in time,
Bill Cosby was still doing that now.
No, but what I'm saying is I think that he was doing it recently enough. Like all of them cases wasn't 30 years old, right? Like he's been an old man for a minute. But I'm saying when you look at the people, like I looked at what's the dude name he's played for the Packers, Darren Sharper. Like he was serial, right? So like Darren Sharper, that dude
that's a different thing. That
millionaire.
Sick and
No. I don't. But same thing. It really ain't.
It's not the same. It is the same thing. It's not nothing different.
Right.
He was a rapist. Right. It's the same thing.
What I'm saying is
that was crazy.
The young man looked good. The young man had a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right. He didn't even have reason.
Yeah, that's what scared me because I'm like, bro, you don't have a reason to do such.
But that's both. But that was both of them. Neither one of them had a reason to. It's just Bill Cosby or Darren Sharp. Neither one of them had a reason. They could easily get what they wanted.
Nah, I think
Bill. I can see.
But here's the thing. But I think it's also like he was older, but there was women that was willing.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, like it was older women that was willing. It was women willing to sleep with him. Young, old, it didn't matter. It was women that was willing to sleep with him.
Okay,
we know that. Like that wouldn't have been hard for him to find women to sleep with him. He was the thing is that it was the power about being able to drug them and not having that complete power over them.
Which I think
that's what made it different. And that was with Darren Sharper, with his was violent. The power was him being able to be violent over women and take control of them. So it's like the same thing, just two different methods of getting what they want. Gotcha. But it's not any different at all. Like they're both predators. They're both on the same level.
Yeah.
You know.
But I'm saying, I'm saying like
point made. I can see that.
I'm saying so now, like the creeps, the Harvey Weinsteins, right? Like the dudes who've been doing it for years. Like times change. You didn't adapt. When they was like, "Hey y'all," so apparently I'm sure they had a meeting. They was like, "Hey y'all, the creeping got to stop." And everybody, all the creeps was at the meeting.
They had a meeting.
They was like, "Hey man, y'all got to stop."
Especially those who were connected to that person on their livelihood. They're like, "Listen, you're gonna have to stop out, man, bro, because I need you to still do your."
Do you really think they're gonna stop though after they've been getting away with it for 20 years?
No,
and then all of a sudden they're like,
it becomes a way of life for
them. We're not gonna stop. Like we just gonna keep going till the wheels fall off.
That's what gets them caught up, right? I'm saying, like, if you look at Diddy, I'm sure, right? 30 years ago, you probably was doing the same stuff.
Yeah, he always was
but
doing that.
times have changed. It's too much technology, right?
Oh yeah, you do anything, you getting caught.
You could have had that same fight in the hotel room. Once she leave the hotel room, cuz
my thing is like if he did that outside of the hotel room,
you already know what kind of smoke was going on inside. Hey, you know what it remind me of? You know,
it's terrifying.
You remember that video he had? You remember that video
with the blanket? She was under the blanket. Yo, I'm telling you, it's terrifying.
He looked so terrible now because remember he posted that.
He tried to make it seem like that she was playing. Like she
come on, babe. It's a nice day out. Let's go run. Let's go on the beach. Let's go jog. I don't know why you tripping. You probably just knocked her head off, fam.
Right.
And now she under the blanket. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
that man is evil. It's just
it's scary for sure.
It is.
Hey, you know, like there's women in everyday life going through this. You know, like everyday life, there's women that you talk to that go home to her man and he knocking her head around. You know what I'm saying? Every day. And y'all know these guys. You know what I'm saying? Y'all talk to these guys.
I think
that's the crazy scary. That's the crazy scary thing.
I get what you're saying.
He's right.
It may be somebody I work with.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
This is happening every single day to people. Like, and it's just crazy because
go ahead, Schwan.
Just to see this woman deal with this with these elite people kind of going through this, and you would think that they are exempt from these type of things, but this really goes on in everyday life.
I think the tough part is for those of us who have attempted to help that person, and that person has gone back to it. You know what I mean?
But the cycle of abuse is crazy. Like it's a psychological thing. It's psychological warfare that the victim is going through because they want to leave, but they don't know how to.
But what I'm saying is, as the person who tried to help you, right? Like if I get you out of that and you end up going back to it, it puts me in a position where I gotta wash my hands of you because I can't keep getting involved in that because it's his job to protect you. You know what I'm saying? That's really his role. That's your man.
I mean, at the end of the day.
But if he's the person that you need protection from, then what do you do?
When I pulled you out of it, that is when I did my deed. Like, yo, I got you out.
I got you a buffer. Now run.
Now run. Even if let's go get whatever you need, couple things. You do this. Right.
Fact, we don't need
if it was that easy, we won't have nobody in these situations. But unfortunately, we know we don't
have all the answers tonight.
Absolutely.
We know it's not. So I don't want to blame no victim that's going through that because because it's like
no blame.
Zero blame. That was more of like speaking on behalf of the people who kind of feel.
I get it. Like I get that. Like
because I think
because that's a bad
real thing.
And here's the thing. I've been in a situation where trying to help someone in a domestic violence situation where I put myself at risk. Like the man almost jumped on me because I was trying to help her. You know what I mean? And thank God. Yeah, I got her out, but she went back and she kept going back. And it was just like at a point, I did. I said, you know what? If you're going to keep going back, you can come over here with a black eye. I'm going to act like I don't see it because you don't care it's there. But at the same time, it's like, dang, like, how do you really turn your back on somebody that you know is in a situation and you care about them and you know that it's not going to get no better? You know,
you just got to do it hard.
Because
I saw you posted that today too. I saw that.
I can say this. You know what I'm saying? I speak from personal experience. Like some people gotta have certain journeys by themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Like I can support you.
And it's scary,
and I can
though.
help you at certain points of the road, but you gotta do it. And then I gotta support you.
But here's the thing too. Like I feel like we always say this to the victims. What are people saying to the people that's actually perpetrating these crimes, the people that's actually beating the woman? Is it people in their life saying you need to get help, you got to stop doing this? I feel like we never hear about that side of it.
I feel like we are
like we never hear
ourselves from
about that. Like we are like, well, you need to leave. Like you need to leave him alone. But what are we doing for the person that's
because
actually perpetrating the crime?
But then we talk about those people at the top of the show. The people
no, we didn't. That was
If like if you know your cousin is slapping around, like why you ain't over there jacking him up? Why you not over there like, what, bro? You can't be over here doing this. Like, absolutely not. You know your brother over here is smacking his girlfriend because she burnt the chicken, and you ain't checking him. Like, I'm just saying, like.
But what I'm saying to you, Shawan, is, and I 1000%, I think real men step in when they see it and it happens.
Do they?
But let me say this though. But if
you see old girl keep going back, and at the end of the day, what can I do if you keep going back to this food?
Here's what I mean by this, right? This is what I'm saying.
Especially if I got responsibilities of my family and my home.
You got
it's only so much you can do. Call the police on them.
But it's one of those things, like people will still be kicking it with him. They'll still be friends with him, kicking it with him, acting like he ain't over here beating the mess out of his girl. Like, how y'all still cool? How y'all still respect this dude? Like, how y'all still like okay with him?
Because I wouldn't be cool with that dude.
Yeah, like ain't no way. Like I don't respect you.
Now, what was you gonna say, Knox?
I was gonna say, I feel like in most cases, like I said, that's a battle where you got to support somebody who's trying to fight it. Right. So, for example, if I'm at your house and I'm with my lady and we hanging out and you are verbally abusive with your woman, right? Does your woman just take it? Right? Like, has she accepted that as her norm?
But what they got to do with you? Like, what they got to do? Like, you see, this is like making you uncomfortable. Like, damn, this ain't really talking to her like that. Like, don't you pull your guy to the side and be like, yo, like.
What I'm saying is,
yo, what's up with that? Yo, like, why you
pull your guy to the side happens after all.
After, that's what I'm saying. Right? Yeah, after,
but what I'm saying is, I think a lot of times we are looking at the demeanor, right? So, like for example,
no, because people that are abused and like when people are like psychologically in that space where they're used to being abused, like. The reaction is going to be like they taking what's happening. They're taking him disrespecting her and abusing her because they're in that mindset. Like
so what I'm saying is,
so you can't really judge it and be like, well, she let him do it.
Not judge, but what I'm saying is I'm just putting this. I'm putting this out there. I'm not saying right or wrong, left or right. What I'm saying is, as the guy who would love to help you, right? Like. When you know you are around people who got your back, I think like you have to say something. Now, at the end of the day, if you ain't gonna say nothing, I can only say so much because you going home with this crazy dude.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
but
saying?
Like,
well, in that scenario,
but what I'm saying is,
I mean, that's their business as adults. But if it's my partner, I'm gonna say. Hey, man,
we ain't got to do
bro,
that.
You kind of out of line with that one, man.
Yeah.
I mean, why, and then after that,
because
his response will let me know whether we will continue to hang out or whether we will continue to be cool. Because if he give me like, nigga, get out my face, man. This is my business.
That's my wife. I talk to my wife how I want to.
I'm like, nigga, you ain't gonna be talking to me then.
But this is what I'm saying, right?
But I wouldn't even say nothing. We just wouldn't be cool anymore at that point.
But what I'm saying is, right? But this is now Shawan, he just made the point that I was making, which is after we say what we got to say, right? We wash our hands of it. Like we not hanging out with them, but that don't save their spouse.
They don't say their spouse.
So what I'm saying is,
but
if you around people who you feel like, for example, if we all know each other, right? We all know each other. We've been hanging out. We all know each other. So. And I mean, like we got real history with each other, right? And I find out, like, let's say you come, I find out or you come to the house because this dude has put his hands on you and you like, listen, I don't know what's going on and I don't want to go back to my house. And, I'm completely all right with going, well, then you need to stay. If you want to stay here, you stay here. If you don't feel safe, you hear what I'm saying? Like, but I can support you if you are going to actually move around from it.
Yeah.
But if you're not gonna move around from it, it's hard for people to be involved.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. I
we
get
start
that.
to
Yeah.
feel like we care about you
No,
being
you
abused
finna
more
put
than you getting
no,
abused.
Because I've been in
finna
that
put
situation
you
with
finna
a
put
best
yourself
friend.
in
Like I
danger.
get it. Like I
You're
wanted
going
to
to
help
put
her.
yourself
I
in
wanted to get
danger.
her out of it. Yeah.
What?
I literally
So let me ask you
I literally jumped in the middle of a domestic violence situation.
to
And
protect
was
your best
based
friend.
it was basically being threatened, like you next.
So let
And
me
I'm
ask you.
like, if you put your hands on me, I'm the last person you're gonna put your hands on. That's for one, that's gonna be really bad for you. I'm not her. Okay. It's gonna be a whole other situation. But it was like crazy. It was like it was just really just
I try to keep it. I try to keep it kosher. I've jumped in the middle of a domestic, but it was in a pub. It was a public forum. The dude's chasing her. She runs into where we are, and the guy is after, and I get in between them.
Did you know him?
No, I didn't know this guy at all. And,
okay.
And
did you know the girl?
Like, yeah, I knew of her. I didn't know her.
Okay. I was just curious.
And so he was like, man, and I said, bro, man, bro, you gotta go. You can't do this. He say, man, but she did so. I said, man, she probably deserve it. And it's probably real jacked up what she did.
But you can't do it.
But I said, but me, who I am, I can't let you do it. I say, you gonna have, if she come back to you, you have to get her some other time. But you ain't gonna be able to do that today, right here in front of me.
So
I can't. Then in that moment, she jumped up and was like, yeah, man. I turned around and told her, I said, shut your mouth right now before I let him whoop your ASS. And she looked and sat and kind of chilled out.
Because she was gonna buck up because she asked him back.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm calming this man down. You want to come pour
don't do that. Don't do that. Because don't do that. And that's the only time I really jumped in between a situation like that. Now I've had a partner that was hot, but he saw me, he calmed down. And usually alcohol is involved.
Y'all ever hung with like a domestic violence couple?
And it wasn't no sheep. She wasn't no sheep in the situation. I'm like,
domestic violent couple, no.
Yeah, like the couple that fight each other.
That fight. No. That's a part of
they fight each other.
That's the part of their demeanor.
And they not even tripping.
No, but you know what? I never hung. My daddy had an uncle and auntie back in the day that was domestic violence as a mug, and we thought it was
you dropped out. Did you say drunk and high? I think that's
they get drunk and high. Okay. And they would fight and fight each other, like fight each other. And the next day it would be like nothing happened. And it was like funny because we were young and it was funny, but now I was thinking about that, like, dude, that's wild that we really like was entertained by their domestic violence.
Here's my question.
But I don't know. You know what? I don't know See, we call that domestic violence. That's just a toxic relationship.
It was very toxic.
Violence to me is there's no even keel. People are really getting abused and hurt.
Yeah.
Like in this case, circling it back, I know we're past time, but circling it back, Cassie was leaving.
Yeah.
He would not leave. And that alone creates a different dynamic, in my opinion.
Yeah. She was in an abusive relationship. She was being abused by a man that was older and richer and able to manipulate and control her.
But my question is this, right? But my question is this. If it is true that she witnessed this abuse before she jumped in this pool, right? Like it's one of them things where
young, dumb, and out of control.
It didn't
It's just
help.
like anybody that get with somebody that they know, they seen the behavior of them and they still
when
get
you're
with
young,
them.
man,
It's the same,
you be thinking
And
it
then
ain't going,
when you
it
got
ain't
somebody
me.
like Diddy,
They gonna
exactly.
it ain't
I'm
Wait.
young, I'm pretty. He ain't gonna do me like that.
I gotta ask this question. I gotta ask this question because I almost forgot, and I know we gotta stop the show, but I need to go back to this. I need you to give me this education, Shawan, because I feel like so the best friend, right? The best friend who deals with the domestic violence. What is the conversation that you have as a best friend? Like, and I'm not saying that the straw that breaks the camel back conversation, but what is the conversation you have to make them realize that this is not something that they really have to deal with?
Man,
it was many conversations. Like, it just wasn't one. I think initially with me being there and witnessing it and like kind of jumping in the middle of it, I was able to like get her to leave like immediately. You know what I mean? Because she was like, oh my God. I think it was more so like she was actually embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? Too, that I actually witnessed it, you know? And I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. Like I could not believe it. Like, what is going, like, and then she told me like that this was a reoccurring thing. Like, he's hit her before. And I'm like, what?
Can I ask you this? Do you see do you feel, or do you see like in those cases, are these situations where like these women are financially dependent on these men?
It's a mental thing. It's a mental state. When with her, like, after I learned that it was a pattern, I could clearly see how he had her trapped, like how he had her mentally. Like, I could see that she was just very like insecure. He was very in it. It's a dynamic. It's like the dynamic of the woman and the man. And they're able to, they know how to like embed themselves into them, into those people.
And we have to realize a concept. It's not this consistent everyday time where it's all violent. There are times it's love bombing.
Super sweet. Super sweet. Taking her shopping, apologizing, like doing all the things, like making her feel like she's the best thing in the world, and then just one day just snap again. And it's like this, it's tug of war, like, and they mentally have them, it's like a certain like type of woman with a certain mindset that abusers are able to manipulate and keep with them. And that's what it was with her. Like, even though I would be in her ear and I'm like, no, he would tell her, oh, she a problem. She's a problem. She just mad because she divorced. She just mad because she don't have a man to love her like I do. That type of stuff. You know what I mean? And then she'll be like, yeah, you're right. Oh, you know what I mean?
Beings do it all the time.
Yes, and it was like psychological warfare for real. And like eventually he really did get her. And I was just like, I'm done.
I always felt, because I guess if you don't need to be in a situation, then I think I struggle with.
But you got common sense. Like you understand that. Like, those people they don't think like we do in that type of situation. Like, it's a completely different type. Like, we will never understand. Like, I know that. Like, I would never be with a dude that put his hands on me.
This is what I'm saying, right? I'm saying like, okay, this is the best example I got, right? I feel like I'm a little bit bigger than average, right? Butler is a Sasquatch, right? if me and Butler was roommates and Butler beat me up once, I'd be moved out the next time he came home from work. That's all I got, right?
Yeah.
Like, all I know is I live with somebody who could beat me up, and I don't like that they exercise that right, so I'm moving. That's all I got, right? Now, if I can't afford to go get my own apartment, then I might have to deal with the dude who beat me up. Right?
Yeah.
and I might have to stay clear of them and try to be nice and be tippy toe, walk on eggshells. But my point is, I think that because as guys who don't abuse women, you know what I'm saying? And I struggle with that because I always say, like, dudes who aren't creeps, we don't understand how creeps think. You know what I'm saying? So we're not, sometimes creep behavior is obvious to us as it is to you until it's like, oh my God, this dude is a creep, right? Like the picture, like the video with the dude who got charged in that Target for taking a picture of that girl being bent over, right? Like, that's so beyond my belief. Had you not shown me the video, you never could have gotten me to believe that really happened.
That somebody is that creepy in public like that.
But because that is some really bold, comfortable, like, I'm going to bend down, slide my phone, and take a picture of this young lady. And then when you got caught, it's not what it looked. No, it's exactly what it looked. I know it. My eyes work, fam. We need you to knock it off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just think that, like, as somebody who would like to just say, to anybody who, struggles with a domestic violence situation, man. Like, I wish I could give a number to a hotline or something or anything right now, but my whole point is, like, there is a better option somewhere. If you live with somebody who feels like putting their hands on you is an option, you do not have to deal with that. Like, you shouldn't deal with it. It's unnecessary. It's unnecessary to have to resort to being physical, especially when you deal. And I mean, we all know that men are more dominant or more physical in most cases, you know what I mean, are more physically dominant, you know what I mean? But, I'm sure there's some women out here slapping their men around somewhere. It's just not in drugs. It's just not,
it's somewhere. It's somewhere.
And it's happening. It's definitely happening. But
it sucks that it takes the footage because I definitely, it sucks, man, because I feel like I would have believed him too until I saw the video.
I didn't.
I'm just saying, like, it's like Bill Cosby, right? It's like just certain things where you like, nah, come on, man. Like, everybody can't be a creep. And you starting to find out, like,
a lot of people are creeps.
The old guard is falling because what used to be cool ain't cool no more, right? You used to be a point where men had the one up on women in Hollywood, and if you wanted to get somewhere, you generally had to do something with somebody. And if that wasn't true, that is the conception that, or that is the idea that we have in America, right? That's why you can say things like sit on the casting couch or whatever the term is, or Harvey Weinstein coming out of bathrooms naked on women and stuff like that, right? Because he's like, look, I am who I am. I'm a guy who can put you in a movie. You're going to do what I want you to do or not. And I'm sure at some point in time when he was first coming in the game, right? That's what the dudes before him was doing. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, at some point it catches up. But I feel like I'm like you, Shawan. I'm glad the public got to see that video.
Yeah.
Because
it was about time.
I would have been naive. I would have been like, come on, dude, stomping and kicking in the face, that just sounds crazy. Right? But to see it and then to know, like, and then I think, Butler, what you touched on before we get out of here is to see all these former bodyguards and stuff come out and want to speak now that the tape has come out. Like, that just shows you, right? Like, yep, at one point in time, you were loyal to the monster. You knew what the monster was doing. It was you probably went and got the tape and dropped the money off. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? Like, it just sucks to know that nobody helped that young lady. And in fairness, right? Like we've discussed, Shawan, maybe at that point in time, she didn't want no help.
Yeah.
It's like anything else, man. Things take cycles, and the at the end, as we wrap up, the thing that we got to
shout out to BS3 Network for being clutch.
So just I know we ended the show, we went way past time, but that those things take cycles. The main thing is that I'm really glad that exposure is out there. As
Absolutely.
we put as in the chat, there are places that you can call. And so for anybody who's watching this and you're hearing this and you're in that situation, this is a sign and it's timely. And we encourage you to dial that number, make a plan. Don't put yourself in danger. Don't call anybody out. Hey, be strategic, plan your escape, and get yourself to safety.
Yeah. Be safe. That's what is the most important. And for anybody who knows anybody that is in a domestic violence situation, share this information with them, and try to just be a ear if that's what they need. Try to be there for people in those situations, because unfortunately sometimes it takes a lot. It takes a village to help people to get out that situation. So let's just all look out for one another and care for one another. I think if we start really caring for one another, then we can help a lot more people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But on that note, y'all, we want to end it in such a serious tone, but it's a very serious conversation. But on that note,
listen, I'm glad that we were able to have that conversation, because apparently, people needed to hear that.
Yeah.
And we want people to hear it, because the world is a better place, man, when people is keeping their hands to themselves.
Right.
And talking it out like adults, man. If you can't talk it out, that person ain't for you.
Right. Right. And if they do it, when it's not right. So, make the call, make the choice, make a good decision for yourself. Hey, everyone, Please do us a favor, hit the like button on any platform that you're watching from. Subscribe to the BS3 Network. If you're on the YouTube page, go to our page on Facebook. Is it Wednesday yet? To our Facebook group, and set the notifications so you can get and see the shows as they come, and we appreciate you all.
Yes, thank you for joining us today. Till next week, peace.
We out this thing, man.
To the money get. Let's make a toast to it. From east to the west coast, we here. See everybody talking like they doing what we doing, but these brothers is rare and they ain't moving like we moving. And